Welcome to The Deep Dive. This is a Prime AI podcast brought to you by the folks at Silicon and Silk.
Great to be here. Today, we're looking to something really interesting in retail tech, specifically fashion e-commerce. You know, we've seen huge leaps in things like AI discovery, super smooth checkouts, but there's this one step, just one, that still causes so much trouble for shoppers and brands: finding the right clothing size.
It really is. It's kind of the final hurdle, isn't it? And it's been hanging around for, nearly 10 years now. Brands have poured effort into optimizing everything else, but you hit that product page.
And boom, same old problem.
Exactly. The sizing question.
For ages, the answer seemed to be the size quiz. You know, what's your height, weight, what size do you normally wear?
Right. Those quizzes, they felt like personalization, which was the goal.
But what we've kind of realized is even a really slick, well-designed quiz, it still makes you stop and think. It demands effort.
That's the core of it. You're asking someone to pause, dedicate maybe 30 seconds, when really they want that decision made in like 1 second, that tiny bit of friction, that effort needed. It's the blocker. It's why millions of us just skip the quiz altogether.
And then what do? We order 2 or 3 sizes just to be safe.
Yep. The bracketing behavior.
In that behavior, well, for the retailers, it's just financially crippling because the way forward, it seems, isn't asking more questions. It's anticipating the answer.
That leads us to this really revolutionary idea: zero input predictive sizing. Imagine the right size just appearing instantly. No clicks, no forms, nothing from you.
Okay, let's unpack that. But first, let's really understand the old way. Why did the quiz approach ultimately, fail to fix the profit issue? We know it took effort, but what was the financial ceiling it hit?
Yeah, it really boils down to adoption. Simple as that. And scale. If a shopper feels like they have to interrupt their flow, stop what they're doing to fill something out.
Yeah.
A lot of them just won't.
Right. Inertia is powerful.
It is. And that friction means even the best quiz, the most accurate one, typically only influences maybe 20%, perhaps 30% of total sales, tops.
And that 20-30% number, that's the key, isn't it? That's the structural limit. Because the very thing the quiz is trying to stop people ordering multiple sizes, that's the silent killer of profit. It's a huge drain on margins.
Oh, absolutely critical.
Yeah.
A massive drain. You look at fashion retailers, and size-related returns alone can eat up easily 20 to 40% of their profit after the sale.
Wow, 40%.
Yeah. So to actually make a real dent in those returns, you need your sizing solution, whatever it is, to be influencing way more than half of all your transactions.
Well, over 50%.
That's the threshold. Below that, the friction, the quiz just isn't worth the limited benefit it provides the business overall. People still order multiple sizes too often.
And that's even before we get into the clothes themselves. I mean, even if I know my size perfectly, the actual garments, they vary, right?
Hugely. That's a massive challenge. Static size charts, these sort of fuzzy quizzes, they just can't keep up with how clothes actually fit in the real world. You can have the same jacket, but the fit changes based on the color.
Seriously? The color?
Yeah, different dyes can affect the fabric stretch or shrinkage slightly.
Right.
Or the fabric batch is different, or maybe even which factory produced it. To tackle that kind of variability across, more than half your sales, you need something much smarter.
Something that learns.
Exactly. You need predictive AI. Only that has the horsepower to manage all that complexity, constantly learning those tiny differences.
Okay, so the old quiz method stumbled on friction and scale. Got it. Now, let's get into the mechanics of this prediction thing. How on earth can a system know my size without asking me anything? What's the information that fuels this?
We tend to think about it in, let's say, 3 main pillars of information. The first one is what we call historical reality. It's about using objective data, things that actually happen, not just what people say their size is.
Okay, historical reality. So what does that actually look like in terms of data points?
Well, first and foremost, past purchase behavior. Crucial. What did you, the shopper, buy and actually keep versus what did you buy and then send back? That pattern, the keep versus return, it reveals your true fit profile, your preferences, way better than asking you.
Okay, that makes sense. Using actual behavior.
Yeah. And we enrich that with a couple of other things. One is service insights. Feedback that gets logged by customer service agents after a purchase.
Like if someone calls up complaining about fit.
Exactly. And then there's customer feedback directly from reviews. We use natural language processing, NLP, to scan reviews and pull out specific fit comments.
Like runs small on the shoulders or great for a long torso.
Precisely those kinds of phrases. The system learns the actual shape and fit characteristics of the garment, as described by people who've worn it.
That's pretty clever using reviews like that. But what if, say, I'm buying from a brand for the first time? Or maybe a type of clothing I've never bought before. My history wouldn't directly apply, right?
Good question. And that's where the second pillar comes in, which we call product reality. It's critical. We use something called product ID level learning. Basically, the system learns how that specific item, that CU, that exact jacket in that specific blue corduroy, actually fits people in the real world.
So it ignores the generic size chart the brand might provide.
Often, yes. It learns from the aggregate data all the purchases and returns for that specific item globally. It figures out the item's true fit behavior.
So it's learning the truth of the garment as it exists, not just the designer's intention on a chart.
You've got it. And we also layer in merchandising input. This is fit information that comes directly from the design or sourcing teams before the product even goes live.
Oh, interesting. So like insider knowledge.
Kind of. It gives the AI a starting point, an informed seed to learn from, even before the sales data starts rolling in.
That blend sounds powerful pre-launch insights mixed with real-world post-purchase data. Okay, what's the third pillar? How does this knowledge travel across different brands?
Right. That's predictive scale. This involves using cross-learning models. Let's say you bought a fitted denim jacket from brand A and carried it. The system learns about your preferences from that. That knowledge can then help predict the right size for you in, say, a similarly structured wool coat from brand B, even if you've never bought from brand B before.
Wow, okay, so it's extrapolating. Based on garment characteristics and my known preferences from other similar items.
Exactly. It's looking at material, cut, structure, and your history with similar items globally to make an intelligent prediction across the entire catalog.
This sounds incredibly data heavy. Does shifting to this predictive model make things, I don't know, way more complex or expensive for the retailer to manage?
Well, it's complex from a technology standpoint, sure. But here's the thing. The core data purchase history returns to businessy. The retailer already has all that.
They just weren't using it this way.
Precisely. They weren't connecting the dots effectively. By shifting the effort from asking the customer, like with quizzes, to letting the machine do the heavy lifting with AI modeling. Yes, there's an infrastructure cost, but the return on investment is huge because the system constantly learns, gets more efficient, and directly impacts those key profit levers.
Right. Okay, let's talk about that impact. If the zero-input approach really cuts out the friction, what kind of measurable results are we seeing compared to that, say, 30% influence ceiling from quizzes?
The jump is honestly dramatic because you're moving from influencing maybe 30% of sales to influencing somewhere between 50% and 80% of total sales.
50 to 80%.
It's usually a two-pronged approach. You use the zero input prediction for all your returning customers where you have that historical data. And then for brand new shoppers, where you don't have history, you use a very quick, highly optimized smart quiz, maybe just one or two questions to get a baseline. That combination gets you much broader coverage.
And hitting that 50-80% influence range, that's where the profit picture really changes.
Oh, completely. When shoppers buy the size that's recommended by this system, the numbers are striking. Retailers consistently report around 35% fewer refunds on those orders.
35% reduction in returns. That's huge.
Massive. And it builds confidence, so you also see 3 to 10% higher conversion rates. People are more likely to actually buy, and maybe surprisingly for some, a 15% higher average order value, or AOV.
Let's just pause on that AOV point. So people are actually spending more per order, about 15% more. Why is that?
It's confidence. They trust the recommendation. They're less worried about the hassle of returns, so maybe they add that extra item to the basket, or they choose the slightly more expensive version because they feel sure it will fit.
They're not hedging their bets by ordering less, hoping one thing fits.
Exactly. So you add it all up, way fewer returns, more people buying, people spending more. When they do buy, the overall ROI, it consistently comes in above 800%.
800%.
Yeah. Retailers are typically seeing around 8 pounds back for every 1 pound they invest in setting up this kind of predictive sizing.
That's incredible. This must be absolutely transformative for those big multi-brand retailers, right? The ones selling clothes from hundreds of different suppliers. They often have inconsistent sized charts or maybe no charts at all for some brands. How does the AI cope with that chaos?
That's actually where it shines. It basically ignores the potentially unreliable supplier-sized charts. Instead, it built its own proprietary data-driven model of fit based entirely on that retailer's own customer purchase and return data.
So it creates its own source of truth.
Exactly. If Brand A's shirts always run small according to their customers, the AI knows that and adjusts recommendations accordingly, regardless of what Brand A's chart says. And remember the color variation thing. If the AI sees that the green version of a dress from Brand B gets returned way more often for fit reasons than the blue version.
It learns that difference.
Yes, it automatically creates unique fit models just for those specific colorways or production batches if needed. The goal is one clear, confident message for the shopper, no matter the brand. Based on everything we know, this is your best size.
It cuts through the inconsistency. And we shouldn't skim over the sustainability angle here either. Fewer returns means less shipping back and forth.
Absolutely. Less reverse logistics, less packaging waste, less fuel burned. That 35% drop in returns has a direct positive impact on the carbon footprint. It's a greener way to operate.
Which is increasingly important, but that brings us, I think, to maybe the most crucial aspect, the human experience. Beyond the numbers, how does this frictionless sizing feel to us as shoppers?
Yeah, this is key. When that size recommendation just appears instantly, accurately, it does more than just save you time.
It feels different.
It feels like the brand understands you. It signals trust. It signals intelligence, a level of premium care. It's like a quiet message. We know you. We've got this covered for you.
Effortless, like good service should be.
Exactly. That kind of effortless, almost invisible personalization. It builds serious loyalty. It makes you want to come back, increases lifetime value. And you see this tying into the trend of retailers encouraging shopping via their own apps, right? Where your identity is known and these predictive recommendations can be integrated seamlessly.
Okay, but I have to push back slightly here. As shoppers, we're getting much more aware, maybe even wary, of how much data companies have on us. If this system knows what I bought, what I sent back, and it's even nudging me towards certain sizes or products, how do brands handle the potential creepiness factor, the privacy concerns?
That's a really important point, and the answer lies in transparency and, crucially, utility. First, the data being used, primarily purchase and return history, is data the retailer already has through the normal course of business. The AI is just using it smarter for your direct benefit.
It's not asking for new sensitive info.
Exactly. Unlike some older solutions that might ask for detailed body measurements, this approach relies on transaction outcomes. It turns existing data into a genuinely useful tool. When the personalization makes your shopping experience significantly easier and more successful, it feels helpful, not intrusive. The utility outweighs the data awareness.
And that utility isn't just about suggesting the right size, is it? You mentioned it can also protect you from making a mistake.
Yes, through features often called shopper nudging. If you manually go to select the size that the system knows, based on your history or the item's known fit issues, is very likely to result in a return for you.
It flags it.
It proactively warns you. A little message might pop up saying, hey, based on your past purchases, size medium might be a better fit for this item. Or even better, if the size you initially wanted isn't ideal, it might suggest alternative products that are in stock and are predicted to fit you well.
So it's guiding you away from a likely bad experience and maybe towards a successful purchase instead, protecting you and the retailer.
Precisely. It prevents disappointment for the customer and saves the retailer the cost and hassle of that inevitable return.
Okay, so let's pull back for a final summary. The big shift we've explored here is it's not about making shoppers work harder, fill out more forms, take quizzes. The future is about having the answer ready before you even need to ask, before you click Add to Cart.
The whole feel of online fashion shopping changes. It moves away from shopper effort towards effortless ease. It goes from points of friction to a smooth flow. And honestly, that's becoming a major competitive differentiator. It's built on having confidence in your data and using it well.
So as we wrap up this exploration, maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. In today's world with AI getting so capable, if a fashion brand still makes you pull out a measuring tape or guess your usual size or fill out a detailed form just to figure out what might fit, what does that signal about how much they value your time? And maybe how much confidence do they really have in their own data, their own understanding of their products and customers?
It really comes down to trust, doesn't it? This move towards predictive zero-input sizing isn't just a technical upgrade to cut return rates. It's a strategic choice. It's about leading with confidence, building trust, and showing your customer that their experience, their ease, their success in finding what they love is genuinely your top priority. It's smart business, and it's better for everyone.